Hey everybody, Mike here from Penman's Gaming, back with another video, and today I'm doing something I haven't done in a very long time, and that is a pickups video. That's right, it's been a stupidly long time since I last did a pickup video. It'll be well over a year now, so I'm not going to do a pickup vid from all the things I picked up since the last vid, because that would just be a bit silly. But what I am going to do is a pickup vid of my most recent pickups. Most of this will be stuff I picked up from Comic-Con, but there are a few other things thrown in there as well. So let's dive straight into it, shall we? So first up is a game which I have kind of had a love-hate relationship with for many years now. I first played this back on the Sega CD. It's a game which I'm extremely awful at, but at the same time I'm hoping this re-release has improved controls and I might be a bit better at it. But it's also a super naff, cheesy game, but quite a notorious or historic game, should I say, and that is Night Trap on the Nintendo Switch. That's right, the classic from the Sega CD has been re-released on the Switch by Limited Run. I already have this game on the Sega CD and on the PlayStation 4 through Limited Run, and when they're releasing it on the Switch, I figured this would be a cool one to pick up. I intend on trying this one out during my lunch breaks at work, maybe. Bit of Switch time there. That's mostly when I play my Switch, to be honest. It's usually at lunch times at work. I don't play it very often at home, but you never know, that might change soon. So obviously, within the game, we have the Limited Run sticker. What is it? The Limited Run token, which contributes towards Limited Run Games loyalty rewards, which I probably won't be using. A Limited Run Night Trap card, taken straight from the Night Trap game, and believe it or not, some weird kind of instruction book from Night Trap with the Scat Night Trap symbol on the back. Scat being the name for the Special Control Attack Team, which are the kind of main story providers in the game. Not a very well thought out name, to be honest, but there we are. It was a weird time for video games back then. This really cheesy FMV style, poor quality Sega CD, grainy video quality game. So the information on the back says, Night Trap, what if you could control your favorite movie? If you were a part of the action, if you made the difference between life and death. Night Trap, the groundbreaking CD-ROM that started the interactive video revolution, apparently, is back. Night Trap makes you the most important character in a real movie with real actors, not computer-generated cartoon characters. Forget the laggy response, small window and jerky video you've come to expect from other CD-ROMs. The tech on display here will make your Nintendo Switch scream. We shall see. I'm looking forward to this. I might even get a bit of recording on this one. We shall see. So the next pickup is from the London MCM Comic-Con, which I was at in the last full weekend of October. I go there every year. I have a great time, really do. Always spend way too much money. I usually spend more than that. Well, I definitely spend more than I should. Sometimes spend more than I've got, which isn't really a good sign. But there we are. But the first pickup wasn't exactly the most expensive, but it's quite a cool find. And that is Pit Fighter boxed for the Atari Lynx. Now, I don't know whether it's just the areas where I kind of go looking for games, but I tend not to find many Atari Lynx games, and you tend not to find many boxed ones either. But obviously at Comic-Con there's loads of stuff there. This was on a guy's stall who wasn't even selling video games. He was selling action figures and old retro 90s and early 2000s and probably older action figures and toys. And just in amongst all the figures and stuff that were there was a few just randomly scattered games. And this was hiding there, like I said, boxed Pit Fighter in really good condition for the Atari Lynx. And I've got an Atari Lynx, and I have about 10 titles, just counting them over there. So this was a cool add-on to that. Has the instructions, warranty card there, the instructions, there we are, and the game. So in great condition. Really surprised to find this, and if I remember correctly, it was at a silly good price. I think he wanted something like £6 for this, which, you know, Comic-Con stuff are usually quite expensive at the best of times. For the retro stuff, it's not easy to get amazing deals there. Don't get me wrong, some of the traders will hook up if you buy multiple items and stuff, but you find some of the prices and all are a lot higher, and the price for some of the retro video games now has been shooting up. So to find this for £6, I thought was a brilliant find. For those of you who don't know, Pit Fighter was a classic one-on-one fighter game back in the 16-bit and 8-bit era. It was on both, I believe. I used to play this on the Sega Mega Drive and absolutely loved it, mainly because I figured out that there was one guy who could pull off his special move, and it seemed to be unblockable. All the characters would just get pummeled by him, and that kind of... I just spanned that through the entirety of the game until I finished it. So to see this on the Lynx is really cool. Doesn't obviously look as good as the Mega Drive, but let's read the box, shall we? It's no-hold-barred action as you and your tag team take on the roughest fighters ever to enter the pit. Can you survive long enough to become the champion? That's all it says. I've got the Atari Lynx, 1992. So yeah, cool to find this. Really impressed. Nice to add it to my collection, because I didn't have this in my Atari Lynx collection. I haven't got a huge collection for the Lynx. But it's nice to add, so really chuffed about that one. So, next up isn't really a pickup as such. This is a game I already had, but it's not about the game. It's more of an autograph. Yes, I got my copy of Deadpool the video game autographed by none other than Nolan North. I got this on the first day there. I was the first in line to get the autograph by him. He was a bit late, but you know, what can you expect? I was quite surprised when I got in on the Friday. It was the first thing I went to because I wanted to get the autographs out of the way. And I got this one. Got him to sign my Deadpool. The guy's a really nice guy. We had a little chat. He said he's hoping that with the popularity of the Deadpool films that they'll bring him back to do a Deadpool 2 video game, which would be awesome. So yes, to Mike, tacos rule, Nolan North. Of course, tacos do rule. But yeah, it was really nice meeting him. Like I said, we had a little chat. I got to see him at a couple of panels later on throughout the weekend. It was really cool, and it's really cool to have a signed copy of Deadpool by the man himself. Okay, so my fourth pickup is another Comic-Con pickup. This is something which I spotted on one of the game stalls there, and immediately occurred to me that it's one that I didn't have in my collection. I was quite surprised about that, because I used to have this back in the day on the original Xbox, but it occurred to me that I didn't have it, which surprised me. I was sure as hell I had, but checked the game app I used to keep track and I don't have it, and that is Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on the original Xbox. I really enjoyed this game. I know a lot of people got a lot of stick, give this game a lot of stick for obviously Raiden and all that stuff and the weird story and stuff, but I thought it was a brilliant game, really enjoyed it, and I was surprised that I didn't have it in my collection because I could have sworn I did, but there we are. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on the original Xbox comes complete with a little flyer, original Xbox instruction book, which is awesome. Look at that. It's a proper instruction book, people. Can't get them anymore. But there we are. That was cool. I think that wasn't too expensive, to be fair. It's not a hugely expensive game. What I would love to get is Twin Snakes on the GameCube, but that's kind of gone up in price these days and it's getting quite tricky to find. But there we are. So next up is yet another Comic-Con pickup. This is quite a cool little thing I like the look of, so I thought I'd pick it up as a little knick-knack thing to, you know, play around with. And that is a 8-bit 2.5 LCD kind of retro game handheld emulator doohickey. Contains, I believe, it's a digital game system. Console is slim, portable and trendy. Digital multiple platform device, can play on TV. The backlit function of the screen ensures players can play everywhere. With powerful rechargeable battery pack, includes an AC adapter and a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. 2 to 3 hours of continuous gameplay. Basically, this has, I think it's something silly like 200 and odd built-in, 200 odd built-in video games from like the NES library. I think it is mostly, if not exclusively. But it's a cool tiny handheld. Power on now. Gives you a choice of Chinese or English. Some weird music. So we'll have a look. It has 129 games in one. Most of these seems to be taken straight from the NES library. You got Chip and Dale, Double Dragon, Ninja Gaiden, RoboCop, Mario, all that lot. So yeah, these were being sold at Comic-Con. I think they were like 20 quid a pop or something, and I thought, well, why not? Might be a cool little thing to have a look at and try out and give a go. I haven't had time to play in it yet, but like I said, it can be plugged into a TV, so I'm fairly sure that this can be plugged into a game capture card and we can do some footage of it and see what it's like, which will be cool. Next up, pickup. I've been wanting to get into tabletop gaming for a while now. So I've been picking up a few up with the intention of maybe look at having a little go at them, and this was in somebody's bargain bin that they were getting rid of. Looked interesting, called Terraformers. As you can see there, a 2 to 4 player card game for the 14 plus, around about 30 minutes a game. Don't know anything about it, but they were in a bargain bin for 5 quid, so I figured I'd pick it up and have a look at, and this might be an interesting game to play. It's been something I've been threatening to do for a long time, is look into some tabletop gaming, but just haven't got around to doing it. And obviously, we may not been really into it that much in the past, or haven't played much. I don't exactly have quite that many. I mean, I have a couple of things like Cards Against Humanity and the purple bucket of doom, pink bucket of doom, but not much else, to be fair. So I thought I'd pick this up and see how we go with that. Not much to say about it, really. There's nothing on the back that gives me any information, so I have no idea what the game's like, but maybe I'll give it a try and see what it's like. Or maybe I will. Okay, so next up is a pickup which was my last video, was on my last video, and that is, of course, Fallout 76. I got the Power Armor edition, which I'm not bringing that down because it's huge, but I recently did an unboxing, so if you want to see that, you can do on the channel. That was an interesting delivery, actually. It was massive, but here we are. Fallout 76, this is the Tricentennial edition, which comes with a few downloads, skin packs, blah blah blah. Haven't really played much of this yet, but I intend on getting some gameplay footage and a quick look at that up on the channel soon. So keep an eye out for that. Looking forward to getting stuck into that one, actually. A huge Fallout fan. Okay, so my next pickup was a recent charity shop pickup, sorry. Went into one in our local retail park. We've got quite a big cancer research charity shop there. And they had, the usual big baskets full of 2 for 99p on CDs, DVDs, and games. So I had a look through, and there wasn't much in the terms of games there, but I did pick up 2 quite interesting ones. One was Crazy Taxi 2. No, just Crazy Taxi, sorry, on the PlayStation 2, which for 50p is not bad at all. Again, complete with instructions and disc, obviously, and the receipt's still in there. PlayStation 2, that'd be quite a cool thing. Crazy Taxi being an awesome game. I've got it on the Dreamcast, really enjoy it, and it's a classic, brilliant soundtrack. I think I might already have this on the PlayStation 2 as well, but it never hurts to have a spare, and it was 50p, so, couldn't really turn that down. The next pickup with that, like I said, the 2 for 99p, was a game called The Last Dynasty, or Dynasty. I don't know how you pronounce it. This is a old PC CD-ROM game from Sierra for Windows CD. Looks like it's one of the old FMV style games. A sophisticated combat simulation and vast adventure game. That's all it says on the back. I'm guessing this at some point came in a big box edition. 2 discs. On the look of it, yes, as you can see there. And it looks like one of those really cheesy kind of, like I said, CD-ROM, FMV type games. I want to say a bit like Wing Commander maybe, but probably not as good. I'm going to guess nowhere near as good. And if you can make out on the back, it looks pretty kind of naff. I don't even know how I'd get this running on my current PC, to be honest. It's that all. This is a game from 1994 by Sierra. Looking at the system requirements here, it makes me chuckle a bit. The system requirements are Windows 3.1 or higher, a 486/33 VLB or more, DX2/66 VLB recommended, double speed CD-ROM drive, 8 meg of memory, 4 megs hard disk, a 640 by 480 by 256 colors, MPC norm, supports all Windows MPC norm compatible sound cards. So I have no idea what half of that meant, as in the what's VLB? Would that be a video card of some kind? Probably, I imagine so. But anyway, that is the last dynasty. I'm going to see how I'd get this running on my PC and do some footage of this, because I'd quite like to see and learn more about it and see what it is. Okay, so next up on the pickups, we are back with the Comic-Con pickups. This is a Super Nintendo game which I've never played. I'll be honest, I didn't even realise this was a thing until I saw it. And that is Jerry Anderson's Thunderbirds on the Super Nintendo. This is, or the Super Famicom should I say, this is the Japanese version. So I can't make anything out of the back, but it looks like it's some kind of side-scrolling shoot-'em-up style action game where I'm guessing obviously you play as the Thunderbirds and you got to rescue people. Like I said, this is the Japanese version, so I can't make much from it, but I'm hoping to be able to get a translation patch for it on the Retro Freak, so that would be really cool to look at and try. Really big fan of the Thunderbirds when I was a kid. I still like them now. Still pretty cool. Which reminds me, when I was at Comic-Con, I saw some of Jerry Anderson's new, is it Firestorm, I think it's called, new series that's coming out, which looks amazing. Have to check that out if you get a chance to. So yeah, Thunderbirds on the Super Famicom. Saw that, figured out to pick it up. Again, it was just kind of hidden in amongst some stuff. Nobody was paying any attention. And, you know, it wasn't exactly an expensive game, so why not? So the next up is another Super Famicom game, and that is Final Fantasy V. Yes, I got this all in Japanese again. So again, it'll be downloading a language patch to the Retro Freak. I'm hopefully playing this in some, hopefully, decent English translation, and that would be awesome to be able to play Final Fantasy, Super Famicom Final Fantasy again on the Retro without having to fork out the huge prices that these go for now if you're looking for the PAL versions. So next up is kind of the highlight, or the highlight for me, of my pickups, and was one of the big highlights for Comic-Con for me to actually find this stuff. Nobody else, there was only one stall at Comic-Con that had this type of stuff. The quality of it's amazing, and it really helps build on my established collection, and that are items for the Vectrex. I don't know if some of you are aware, I think I mentioned it in the past, that I actually recently, I'd say in the last 6 months or so, picked up a Vectrex and a bunch of games for it. And I managed to find this stuff to add to it, so which is bringing me closer to a complete collection, which I would love to get. I don't know if I'll ever be able to, or if it's practical, but I'll have a good go. So first up is a boxed Vectrex controller. I already have a controller for the Vectrex, of course, but it's always handy to have a spare controller, and to find one boxed like this in brilliant nick was amazing. I was really chuffed I found this. Can't wait to give it a whirl. I'm toying with the idea of figuring out how I'd get to do some footage of the Vectrex. I think it might just have to be a camcorder jobby, or probably will have to be, to be honest, and show some footage of these games. Because the Vectrex is awesome, and I'm really chuffed I got it. And to find this spare controller in this condition, in the original box, was pretty amazing. The guy had a Vectrex in one of the best boxed Vectrexes I've seen, condition-wise, and a bunch of games. And he was basically going to, or had intended to sell it all as one big lot, but I managed to persuade him to split the lot up and sell me the stuff that I needed, because obviously I couldn't really be going around spending loads and loads and loads of money on stuff that I've already got. So that's the controller. So the games that I picked up for the Vectrex are also all in really good condition, all boxed, all have the plastic overlays or the coloured overlays for the screens, which I just think is amazing, all in great condition, and I picked up 6 games from them. So first up for the Vectrex is Spike. So Spike, for 1 or 2 players, the dastardly villain Spud has kidnapped our heroine, the lovely Molly, and taken her far away to his secret hideout. Ick! Help, Spike! Spike, our courageous hero and Molly's true love, races to her rescue. He'll be relying on your skills and split-second timing to help him and his quest to save her. Avoid the dangerous creatures as you maneuver Spike along the treacherous path to Spud's hideout. If you're successful, Spike will rescue Molly, and the two will live happily ever after. Until Spud strikes again, that is. Oh no. So, told this is kind of, I mean, I imagine the Vectrex, they're all classics, but I'm told this is kind of one of the more well-known games on the Vectrex. I've seen some footage of it, but I'd love to play it myself. I think this is one of those where there's actually voices in the game and all, which will be interesting. Like, as you can see, all in brilliant condition. They all have the... Open this. Don't worry when I'm opening some of this delicate. They all have the coloured overlays in the original kind of envelopes as well. So, you know, it's amazing that these things have lasted so long as they have, to be honest, when you consider that the Vectrex is... I think the Vectrex is 1983, so I'm making it, what, 35 years old? Something like that, which is impressive. By no means, let's have a look. Yes, 1983, Milton and Bradley. So that was Spike. Next up, I'm told this one's quite a rare one, actually, or quite a hard one to find. I'm not too sure, I haven't really looked too much into it. But this is Fortress of Narzod. Again, the same classic box, Milton and Bradley. So on the back we've got, long ago, in times of magic and adventure, the evil wizard Narzod gained the power to enslave all mankind and won supremacy of the earth from the good wizards. You are the only honourable wizard left with the knowledge to harness the forces of good to destroy Narzod's sinister fortress, but he has guarded his realm against your attack with deadly creatures of darkness. Beware the mystic hurler as you approach the fortress of Narzod. So yeah, that looks quite interesting. For those of you who don't know, probably should have mentioned this before, and the Vectrex was a video game console, I guess. It was a huge thing, massive, had its own built-in screen. Probably show you a picture of it up here. And it basically used vector graphics. It was a really interesting concept, and maybe I'll do a video and go more depth into it and show some gameplay of stuff at some point in the future, I think, to figure out how I'm going to do that. But yeah, it was a really big bulky thing with a screen and a built-in screen, and the controller came out of it. It was really cool, actually. I'm really chuffed to have one in the collection. But anyway, the next Vectrex game I got was Flipper Pinball. Let's see there. So, what have we got here? For 1 or 2 players, get ready for even more excitement and split-second action than traditional arcade pinball. Flipper Pinball's special features like a ball splitter, Drop targets and ball savers will give you the ultimate pinball challenge. It even tilts. The action is fast and furious. You'll need your sharpest reflexes to keep the ball in play and rack up bonus points. Flipper pinball. The next one is Web Warp. So you can see a lot of these all look very similar at the front in terms of gameplay. Because like I said, it was done by Vector Graphics, so it was all straight lines. The screen's really weird in that way, so it's quite like a tall up screen, and they had those weird colour overlays that I showed you, which you'd put over the screen to make the game in colour. That was quite an interesting feature. I always found that quite funny. But anyway, Web Warp for 1 or 2 players. Enter a galaxy of the future filled with adventure and danger. A galaxy unlike any you have imagined before. You become the Hawk King, a creature capable of incredible speed and power as you attempt to capture the amazing creatures that inhabit the speeding web of fantasy. All 20 creatures are protected by guardians and the dreaded cosmic dragon, and each will become progressively more difficult to hunt down. Will you be one of the very few to capture the elusive 20th creature? Probably not. Web Warp. Next up is Cosmic Chasm. Again, another brilliant condition box on the Vectrex. I'll go again for 1 or 2 players. Can you save the galaxy by blowing up the alien inhabited planet and get off the planet before you explode too? You must find your way through the deep underground maze while battling with the planet's protectors. If you can get to the center, plant your bomb and try to find your way out. It's only a matter of seconds before the planet goes boom. Well, that's not very nice, is it? Going onto an alien planet and blowing them up. No wonder they never visit us. Right, so Vectrex Berserk. Again on the Vectrex. There we are. Berserk being another classic. I believe this was also on the Atari as well. For 1 or 2 players, all the excitement of the real arcade version. So yeah, it was also in the arcade. Maneuver your humanoid through the electrified maze of robot-filled rooms. You may kill off the first group of robots, but initial success does not mean survival. New groups will begin firing at you. Added danger lurks when evil Otto enters. He can jump the maze walls and squash you, even if you linger too long. That's right. Buckner and Garcia, the guys behind the awesome song Pac-Man Fever, I believe also did a song on Berserk, which was awesome. Got their album. Love it. Okay, so that is all of the Vectrex stuff, which brings me quite close to a complete collection, if I'm going to be honest. I think I'm at about, I say quite close, halfway there maybe, around about, I think there was 28 games in total, I believe, and I've now got 16, I think it is. So, you know, it'd be quite cool if I can get a full collection. It'd be cool to have a complete collection of the Vectrex. I don't know whether that's practical. I haven't looked too much into it yet, but that might be a future task for me, which is very exciting. So next up are a couple of wildcards, I suppose you can say, in terms of pickups and video games. Again from Comic-Con. Now, whenever I go to Comic-Con, there is, or has been for the last few years, there's always been a store there called Rice Digital. And Rice Digital do seem to specialise in Japanese games and doing special editions of some Japanese games and all. And usually they're quite weird or bizarre games that they do. And obviously coming to the end of the expo, they were having a sale on some of the special editions of these games. Games which are apparently like 70, 80 quid for the game, and the special edition were being dropped down to like 15, 20 pounds. Obviously just to try and clear them out, I imagine, so they're not taking as much back home or back to wherever it is they are based. So I figured I'd pick up a few of these. Now I know nothing about these games as such when I buy them, but I figured at the prices that they're going for, it's worth a risk on them. They're usually quite weird and in a way quite entertaining, so I figured why the hell not. So first up out of these games is a Nintendo Switch game, which I kind of went for mainly because my Nintendo Switch library is woefully small. I think I've got about 6-7 games in total. So I figured, well, you know, while they're selling this, I figured I'd give it a whirl. And this is Fate Exiled on the Switch. Know absolutely nothing about this game when I picked it up. But it's experience lightning-fast battlefield action across an epic story in digital realms of Seraph. The Holy Grail War is over, but the land's new ruler faces challenges and threats from all sides. That's all it says there. It's kind of... I've been playing this... this has been my lunch break at work game that I've been playing. So this is me getting some use out of the Switch, which I picked up near launch and then hardly played on. But, you know, it gives me something to do on my lunch. Half hour. I'm going to say hour, but I don't get an hour. Half hour. So, yes, it's kind of a... What can I class it as? Kind of like an action game. Well, it is an action game. It's not like an action game. But it is like the Dynasty Warriors. That's the name I was trying to think of. Style game. It's you against hundreds of enemies. You've got to run around to certain zones, hit certain objectives while in the zone to secure that area, then move on to the next zone. And then between that, there's like really long kind of story dialogue. Obviously, it's all in Japanese with English subtitles, which helps, because I can't speak Japanese. And it's a weird story, which is kind of based in like a digital realm. It's quite bizarre. I still haven't quite got the full hang of the story. You're on what appears to be like a digital realm, which is where you're based. You're like the silent protagonist, but you inhabit the weapon, I suppose, the ring or the weapon of your guardian, who's also the kind of master of the land, or the queen of the land, but you're her master. It's very bizarre, doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it's quite a suppose straightforward run around and hack and slash and meet the objectives type of game. I will show you some footage of, so you can make your own decisions off maybe. But that was Fate Exiled. This wasn't a special edition, I just picked up the game alone. Basically just to add to the Nintendo Switch library, get me a couple of games to actually play and get some use out of it. So the next two games from Rice Digital, that I picked up from their stall, are special editions, and they're both for the PS4, which I thought was quite interesting, quite cool. Tried these games at quite a decent price. I think 15-20 quid for any PlayStation 4 game, really. Retail, it isn't a bad price, I guess. Haven't played these, know nothing about them yet, so it'll be interesting to have a look at these. And the first one is Under Night in Birth X Late ST. As you still see, still sealed, still got the cellophane on. That's the cover for it. Very, very Japanese cover there. So the essential 2D fighting sensation of the generation. So either it's like a really hugely popular game, which I just haven't heard of because I've been living under a rock, or it's a lot bigger in Japan than it is over here. I have no idea. So let's have a look. Discover the struggle of the Hollow Knight in an epic 10-hour plus or 10+ hour story mode. Transition from beginner to expert with easy to understand tutorials. Unleash eye-melting devastation online and offline with 20 iconic fighters. So it's a 1 to 2 player. 4.4 minimum gig. HD output to 1080p. And remote play supported. PS4 Pro enhanced and all that. So basically it's a one-on-one fighter game from the look of it. Be interesting to see. Doesn't really give much away on the back in terms of visual style. But these type of fighting games usually have quite a cool visual style that I quite enjoy. So it'll be interesting to check that one out and see what it's like. Now this was the special edition that I picked up, because they were doing it for stupidly cheap. Comes with this. I can get it in the shot. You can see quite a decent sized Under Night in Birth Execute Late ST. The deep darkness of the Hollow Knight. New shells of incarnation, a light, one swing of the sword, sinuous white snake, savage fangs, or the beasts tonight. The deepest night, blessing for all who confronts. Okay, so this comes with, quite bizarrely, not one, but 1, 2, 3, 4 packs of badges. Over there, so it's just quite. I've never really seen this in a collector's edition before, but they all come with badges, and these badges, what I'm assuming, are different kind of stylized cartoon versions of the characters who are fighting in the game. I guess the characters you can fight as. I'm assuming that would make sense if that was the case. Can't think what else these would be. But they're cool looking badges, no less. Yeah, I've never really seen a special edition with all these in, so I'm guessing they're just badges of all the characters in the game. So it also comes with the Forces of Fragment original soundtrack for the game. There we are. Which has 11 tracks on it, so I'll give that a whirl at some point. Okay. And with every special edition, you of course always get the classic art book. Let's have a look. We have some of the art in there on this nice glossy art book. I've got so many of these now. I don't even think about counting them or telling you how many. So many special editions, so many different art books. But I do like art books. Art books and like seeing all the concept art and the ideas behind the imagery for the video games is always cool to find. I mean, I would have loved to have gone into being like a video game artist or something like that, but I haven't got the talent to do that, to be honest, or the patience, I think. But I do find that the video game art is... I'll try and shut this now, all the badges getting in the way. Do try find that the art books of video games are awesome, and I really do like them. So that was that game. I say that game. That was Under Night in the Birth. Weird title there, which I'm probably getting completely wrong, but there we are. So the next one up is another PS4 title, and this is a really weird special edition, and some of you have probably heard of this one. I hadn't until seeing this, and like I said, just picked these up because they were selling them relatively cheap, and they look like they'd be quite interesting, if not funny, games. And this one is Punchline. And we've got a very cartoon, anime heavy cover there. So we've got, from the creators of the Zero Escape trilogy comes a new supernatural adventure. Haunt our household as a ghost, solving mysteries and puzzles. If you see panties, you'll destroy humanity. Of course you will. Try to find your body back and end up saving the world. That's all that says. Doesn't give you anything else on that. I'm guessing it's some kind of graphic novel style video game. I have no idea. And the collector's edition for this is this. Comes in this decent sized box. Punchline Collector's Edition. We'll have a look in there, shall we? As there are all sorts of goodies. I'll leave this bit till last. So first off, we get a Fifth Adventure. Well, that's just the company. That looks like a dog collar type thing, necklace with yeah, it just looks like a weird dog collar type thing. It's quite bizarre. Sure what to make of that, with like a metal kind of thing on it, like tag, suppose you could call it a dog tag. Makes sense. We have the standard so we have the standard music soundtrack. We have the Japanese writing and the images on there, and a cat which has that collar on, so it was a cat collar. We've figured that bit out at least. Next up is a keychain in Japanese. I have no idea what that is. I imagine Some of you out there probably know Punchline, have probably played it or know of it. So if you have, leave some comments below. It'd be interesting to hear what you think of the game or what you make of it. And of course, we have the awesome art book, Punchline limited edition art book. Again, you can see nice, glossy, awesome art pictures on there. Oh, just twat the mic. Some crazy superhero dude there. Yep, and obviously scenes from the games, I imagine. And that's all that is in the special edition. Like I said, I know nothing about these games, so if you guys have played them, please let me know what your thoughts are. It'd be great to hear from your guys on the interest of the game. So, one last thing, which I put this to one side and then kind of forgot about. This has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever had in a collector's edition for video game. And I've had some weird stuff. But yes, so I'll show you this. I'm have to assume that any of you guys out there who know what Punchline is, or if you've played it, if you've got the game, then you know what this is about, because I have no idea. Or you know it's in the special edition, but here goes. Ta-da! Yes, not quite sure how this is coming through, but yes, it is a pigeon mask. Don't know if you can hear me well there, but they are a pigeon mask, a rubber one, which has a really strong smell to it. A weird pigeon mask. I have no idea what that is. It's obviously some kind of relevance to the game, but I have no idea. I guess I'll find out if I play the game. If you guys know, leave in the comments. Please let me know. Let me know what you think of the game, if you've played it. If you can make any sense out of this, it would be great to hear from you. Right, so that marks all my recent pickups. I want to thank you all for watching. Please let me know what you thought of the recent pickups. If you guys have got some pretty cool pickups, let me know about them. Would be great to hear from your guys on your recent pickups. Maybe, you know, give me some direction to any of your pickup videos. It'd be great to watch them. Would be great to hear from you all on any of the games that you've seen, if you've played them, what you think of them. Let me know, especially the ones from Rice Digital. It'd be really interesting to hear more information about them. Or if you've just got any questions about any of the pickups, please let me know. It would be interesting to hear from you guys, or it would be great to hear from you guys, actually. And if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to subscribe, click the little bell button so you get notifications, and hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated and help me out a great deal. So for now, I'm going to stop rambling and say a big thank you for watching this, and I will catch you all in the next video. Catch you all later, and goodbye.